Did you know that PayPal wanted to fine you for misinformation? Really? Yes. This is crazy. And furthermore, they could have banned you from access to your account, just shut you down and fine you up to $2,500. You know, $2,500 is a lot of money for some people just because they said something that PayPal didn't agree with by their own choice. They've got to be the sole judge, arbiter, judge, and jury. Holy smoke, guys, where are we heading? Fortunately, a lot of people raised a lot of stink about this, and it backfired on them. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad to know that. So what happened? We had these guys that they really got kind of upset, didn't they? And but they've had to walk it back. If you don't get woke, I cry. Oh my gosh, guys. PayPal users were told they'd be fined, like I said, $2,500 for misinformation. But guys, they didn't backtrack it immediately. It took a course of an upswelling of anger, and lots of people canceled their accounts. So suddenly it was costing them lots of money, and they realized the error of their ways. Maybe too late, because people's money in the PayPal accounts is what they earn interest on. You don't earn interest on your money there, but they are earning interest on your money there. And I just took my money out. My account is still open, but I got to thank folks like Appalachia's Homestead with Petra. You know, she was one of the earlier people that called this out, and fortunately they've had to backtrack this. Now she's a fellow homestead prepper in East Tennessee, puts out a lot of good information. Check her channel out. Support our fellow YouTubers. And talking about supporting our fellow YouTubers, you can support me by buying worms. Pretty simple, right? Just click that button, buy worms, right there, or up here. Go to greengregs.com, and that would help me. There's also a donate button there if you don't want to buy worms on the buy worm page at the bottom. But anyway, my friends, so what were they really up to? See, they changed their terms of agreement. Their terms, and they thought, they thought that nobody would see this down in the language, and it wouldn't, and they weren't even going to make it effective until November, I think, 6th. Strangely, right before what? Election day. So they're going to wait the last minute and pull the rug out from under people. Was this a ploy to change the election? No, couldn't be, right? No. But anyway, well, they got a lot of standards here, and some of them are hard to argue with. But when you get down to down here where the red line is, where they're talking about things that are fraudulent, fraudulent. Who determines what's fraudulent? Fact checkers at Facebook. Who makes the determination? Oh yeah, Facebook is losing a lot of people. Maybe PayPal's hiring Facebook fact checkers, reckon? Fraudulent. Promote misinformation. Now let's go back up here. Involving the sending and posting publication of any messages, content, or materials that in PayPal's sole discretion. You see what I'm talking about? PayPal says, hey, it's our sole discretion. Now, where are you sending this stuff to? I mean, you don't send stuff on messages and things on PayPal typically. So are they just like monitoring your social life? How do they come up with this? That was not clear. I do have a channel here. They may not like the things I say on my channel. And I do have a donate button, which goes, unfortunately, to PayPal at the moment. I got to maybe start looking for another service provider. I don't want to use Apple Pay because everybody don't have apples. Some people have pears. I grow pears. I should have a couple of apple trees. But anyway, I joke a little bit here, guys. But, seriously, we got to PayPal's begging now. They're actually literally on their knees begging because they realize what a huge, colossal mistake they did. But still, this is at their core somewhere. And it's probably the core of all these big left coast financial institutions from West Wopistan, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so they want to, anything that promotes misinformation. Well, PayPal did a great job of identifying that, didn't they? Okay. Well, maybe so. What do you think? Leave comments below if you don't agree with me. All right. So, guys, well, it just happens some of the previous officers and the founder of PayPal don't agree with this this pronouncement. See, David Marcus, he was a primary shaker at PayPal. He says, it's hard for me to openly criticize a company I used to love and gave so much to. But PayPal's new AUP goes against everything I believe in. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity. Insanity. Anyway, so this is crazy, guys. Sorry about that. It's hard for me to unconnect my phone now. I got going again. But look here, Elon agreed. Imagine that. The founder of PayPal agrees. They don't think this is a good policy at all. So, yeehaw. But, you know, it's apparent that PayPal may have already had some issues. They may have had other things cooking. So, look at this, guys. They apparently have concerns about being bankrupt. Some people were already talking about this. Now, suddenly a whole bunch of people canceling. Maybe they thought they would take conservatives' money as to help or hedge them, whatever. Well, no, it was a huge mistake. It was a bigger mistake than Putin going into Ukraine for PayPal. So suddenly now they are really going to be suffering because a lot of people pulled their money out of PayPal. What little money they had there, a lot of money, whatever. Yeah, I did. I still got my account open because I don't have another good venue because my WordPress is set up, you know, where it's friendly to PayPal. I have to find some other means if I'm going to go down it right. But I got other reasons to consider dropping. PayPal's already had me had my hackles up for other reasons. I won't go into that now. But yeah, they're having issues. They're having issues. Now it's getting worse. And according to reports, they're literally begging people to come back. Wow. Anyway, so what they did, they walked it back and they claimed their misinformation policy was posted in error. Now, if you believe that, please tell me so in the comments below, but do explain yourself. I would like to hear that. I'm sure all my listeners would love to hear what you got to say to justify their error. And Brendan Carr, this guy's a director at the Federal Communications Commission. He's actually, you know, a high up guy within the federal government. He don't even agree with this. So he's kind of on the side of freedom. He says Orwellian. No kidding. PayPal reserves the right to take your money. It is your money. See, this is like robbery, in my opinion. Take your money if you post a message that PayPal decides is misinformation. Yeah, what happened to freedom of speech? So he comes out and says, this is why it is so vital that state and federal legislatures pass laws that prohibit discrimination by tech companies and protect free speech. Well, it's good to know that there's somebody interested in protecting free speech at the Federal Communications Commission. Hats off to Brendan Carr. He is a good man. Holy smoke. Wow. Yeah, he is definitely not of the run-of-the-mill deep state ilk. I tell you, there's good people up in these places. They're not all out to get us. So, you know, that's a good thing. So this is also telling us what we can do, that we can be effective, that we can make change. And I'm probably going to do another video real soon about some change that's just been made in Texas by grassroots citizens, if I can get the right guy on the program to talk about it. So buckle up, guys. We may have a lot more topic in this area. Okay. I'm not trying to pick on Bitcoin, but it does kind of make me think of Biden books. Sorry. Now, Bitcoin is probably, you know, one currency, whether it's good or bad, that at least is not under the government control, I hope. But, you know, there is this thing they're coming with called central bank digital currency, CBDC. My friends, that is all about control, because with that, the federal government will get to know. It's going to be issued by the central bank. The central banks and the federal government will get to know and control every penny you spend. They'll know where you're at. They'll know when you buy a sheet of toilet paper. They're going to know everything you purchase everywhere you go, because they eventually want to get rid of money completely. So they'll slip this in. We'll have the two systems running parallel for a little while. Then they'll come up with some excuse, tax evasion, drug running, whatever, to total, which they're probably behind a lot of, just for correcting these excuses. They'll create something that gives them complete, total control where they can monitor your every step. Couple this with something like what China has for their little passport cards, where they're supposed to enforce control over the spread of the bug that's been going around over there. You know, people get color codes and they're allowed to travel or not travel according to their color code. And often the color changes due to political discretion rather than any basis on exposure to said bugs. Well, these are the kind of things you can say, no, our federal government wouldn't do this. We all know the FBI is and the IRS are so non-biased, or so non-prejudicial. They're so, just like big tech on the left coast of West Wokistan. We know that they're all out to protect us because they love us so much, right? Well, if you buy that, again, I want to see some comments below to explain that. So, yeah, not only this, I mean, they may even give people a so-called living wage, but it's going to come with a lot of strings and control how you spend your money. You can't spend your money for things they don't like. Some credit cards are trying to do that. A lot of other things. I did a video on that recently. How they want to control if you're spending money on nugs and track it and eventually pull it away from you. Yeah, and it's money with the strings on it. And not only going to be strings that can tell you how you can spend your money, but strings that can jerk your money back if your social credit score drops too low. Probably. Who knows what else going to be invoked in this, guys. But no, okay, I'm off base. I'm sorry. We're supposed to trust Uncle Sugar. We're supposed to love him because he loves us so much, right? Pardon me. Oh my gosh, I forget. I slip up from time to time. Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know, guys. But guys, here's what I really worry about. We're all preppers, homesteaders, a lot of us. We hope to survive in our own place. We develop gardens and our properties so that we can live off our property if we needed to. But what happens if we can't pay our property taxes because it's in a new central bank digital currency that we don't want no part of? Because it does sound a whole lot like the mark of the boogeyman. You know what I'm talking about. Guys, what in the world is going to happen to those of us that don't participate in the plan? Are they going to rob us of our homesteads? They might well like to. That's how they want to, that may be part of how they want to get here. That and just totally breaking our entire society, bankrupting everything, WW3 and economic breakdown and new monetary system, new taxes, all these things, and the woke Western media, the woke Western big tech. Yeah, well, fortunately, we got a new big tech horizon. That's the good thing. And these guys have ensured it's going to continue to rise. And the good news is, furthermore, is that, hey, guys, the state taxes, states control state property taxes and a lot of other decisions in this area. And a lot of states aren't going along with the game, especially red states. If you're in a blue state, all I can say is God rest your soul. If you're in a state that's crazy blue, you might work extra hard to make sure it stays red, becomes red and stays red, especially in the state legislature, in the governor's office, because otherwise, this is what you got to look forward to, and you're going to lose your homestead if you're not careful. Now, maybe you got some other way to have somebody else in the family assume title and let you live there as long as you serve them in certain ways until they get tired of you and run you off because now they got title. Yeah, there's a lot of risk with that. Or they decide, this person, it belongs to that faith, and suddenly I don't agree with it because I took the beastie mark. I don't know, guys. Stuff might get in their head. So it might give you a little more time on the homestead, but you gave it away. So the best thing to do is come up with ways to make sure we don't give it away. Just like suddenly they've had to walk back this. It's like suddenly Texas suddenly had some changes. I hope to cover in a video soon. So all this stuff is prelude to other things. And the fact that we can make changes, guys. I've been very involved in changes. I have run the halls of Congress and caused major change in policy. me in small groups. So I know we can do it. Been there, done that. It's doable. A lot of people, oh, there's nothing I can do. It's all above my head. It's them. It's they. No, they is us, and we can do it. Trust me, been there, done that. So we don't want to go here. We want to stay out of that. That's the whole item. Now, here's one way we do it. I started this Freedom Restoration Foundation, and I've got a lot of good people supporting it. And we need some more help to just to work the organization. If you want to join us to help us out, start in through the Freedom Restoration Foundation group and Facebook. We're not a member charging organization right now, just because we don't want to be under the control of of Uncle Sugar, IRS and all these guys. So right now we've not gone there, although we may organization have to at some point. But so guys, we need help, because if you come in here, we got this action center. We try to post alerts on it. I got to get the website fixed tonight, some work on it. But guys, we're trying to do things. We're trying to make a change. We got this action center that posts things and also alerts. The alerts, when you open them, have a lot of details in them. And if you go down the bottom of the Action Center page, it tells you how to find, identify, and contact your Congress critters, how to talk to them through mail, email, telephone, several means, and tells you even telephone numbers, how to contact them. Guys, it's one of the most comprehensive sites out there anywhere for how to contact your Congress critters and make a difference. And this was based on my experience of years of running the halls of Congress and getting small grassroots organizations involved in making big sweeping changes. And I did this as the policy chairman of the National Space Society, chair of the policy committee. And we had, and National Space Society is a citizens group. It's mostly like housewives, truckers, doctors, lawyers, farmers. It's a mix of everybody, just like us, guys, just like us. It's no different. But we had huge changes because we organized. And it's not a big organization. Our group here is already a tenth as big as the National Space Society, at least on Facebook. And I think Facebook's been holding our numbers down. So we can grow this. We can make it happen, guys. It's totally doable that we can make changes, at least at the state level. And also, guys, we need to join our tribal network, guys. survivaltribenetwork.com. We got to get this going, join it, form the groups. This is intended for self-organization. And again, you don't put your real name in the system. You make up a stage name, you know what I mean? Until you get to know who you're dealing with directly. Yeah, then you got to vet each other to form your communities. But this is how we do it, guys. It's what we need to do, because you can't survive alone. And especially when our ownership of property and other things have been challenged, when we don't have the kind of money they want us to spend, we can develop our own economy. We can network these groups, these tribes across the country, and change gold backs or whatever. Now I got friends who says, okay, well, if they take my home, I'll just hit the road. I'll travel. The problem is that, how do you pay for the gas? How do you pay for the gas? Okay, so we're back into prepping now. We're talking prepping. How do you pay for the gas if you got to hit the road? Well, I got the most excellent idea in the world for that. It's based on an old, tried and true method from the 60s of a totally environmental car that just uses the power that Mother Nature provides. It worked. It works. Hey, you might really wind up doing this, and you might be glad to have this option. But hey, this option was pioneered by a pioneering intellectual by the name of Ches McCartney, aka the Goat Man. The Goat Man. Yes, he traveled all over the Southeast United States, and is said to have traveled every state other than Alaska back in the early 60s, and I've seen him a couple of times myself. Holy guac smoke. When this guy actually didn't have much use in his right arm. His right arm had been highly damaged from a logging accident as a kid. Hey, look at that phone booth back there. Man, what's Superman do these days? And look at these wheels on this thing. This is a ramshackle pair of wagons he pulled around. Look, he's a goat. There's a goat even inside riding. This is getting it easy. And these rams here, well, they're the ones, they're the engines, they're pulling it. Let's see, there's like a 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 or 7, I don't know, rams in there pulling this thing. So the rams pulled it, and the little Danny's got to go behind. And if he went downhill, he put the rams behind it to serve as the brakes. Because they didn't want to get pulled down the hill or the mountains around in Appalachia. Yeah, he went all through Appalachia, up and down every little hill and valley and road. And the cool thing is, the goats ate the grass on the side of the road. They ate the grass instead of needing gas. And he drank the milk from the goats. So what about that, guys? He drank the milk from the goats, and the goats were powered by grass. And the sun, like I said, Mother Nature is a totally natural car. I imagine these wheels didn't turn too good. Old steel wheels, probably the axles all rusted out. I imagine if somebody today took an idea like this and built it out of aluminum and lightweight materials, because he's got heavy wood in here. You know, if you use some lightweight materials, some composites and fabrics, and you can make a lightweight version with probably as much or more volume, put solar arrays on the top, and just have a few goats. You wouldn't probably need as many goats as he's got. And you could do the same thing. But look, guys, yeah, he had a whole train here. Check it out. It's 2 wagons. And these wagons are loaded with junk and heavy wood. Imagine he had enough room to sleep in one of them, probably. You could haul your prepper supplies around. He did this for years. He finally quit when somebody beat him up. And then somebody killed a couple of his goats and really beat him bad. And there's always cruel people, but he managed to do this for years and years and years and years. And he probably wasn't armed. He was really old. And so I guess that's why somebody beat him. He was really old. He lived to be in his, I think, in his 90s, probably mid to late 90s. He even got the fancy that he was going to hook up with Morgan Fairchild after he quit running his goats. He lived in an old bus in Georgia for a while. And he went out to try to meet her in California. He wanted to propose to her, but it didn't quite pan out for him. Actually, somebody robbed him out there. So he returned to his bus and lived in Georgia until he died. But that was the goat man, Chess McCartney. So that's the story of the goat man. So guys, if you don't want to do this, then do this. Make sure that we're not going to get run off our properties. Fight for legislation to keep our property is something we can pay. And that there's also a movement to move the currency of America. It's in Congress right now, believe it or not, the gold back. Now, I doubt if you're going to see that supported with the current party has been in charge, but come after the midterm elections, that might start to change a little bit. The administration won't be changed, but we might see a new wind starting to blow, and another 2 years later, things might change dramatically. That is, if PayPal don't throw the election. Anyway, my friends, again, another reason to join the Survival Tribe Network. So join these guys if you don't want to have to follow this guy. But then again, there are advantages to this idea. It does have a certain air about it. Might smell like goats, but does have a certain air about it. Goat powered, goat machine, the goat man. Anyway, he was a legend, quite a legend once upon a time. So you could ride in his footsteps or his wagon tracks. Anyway, the goat man. Hey, it's environmental. It's sustainable. Yeah, and it was mobile. But there was some risk in that. So maybe you want a wagon train, a few other fellow goat men to travel with, and you just circle your wagons at night so nobody beats you up. Maybe have some tough goats, turn them loose. On rams, you don't mess with a ram. Man, a ram's tough. Alrighty, guys, enough said. Consider, we can make a difference. That's the point. We can make a difference. I think the fact that I say that, and I've got these organizations, unlike so many other preppers, especially in Freedom Restoration Foundation, it's probably why I get a big boot on my head on the platform here. Probably is. Guys, I just want freedom. That's all. That's all I'm looking for. Is freedom, maintaining our freedoms. What is so awful bad about that? Wow. Think about it. Let's keep our freedoms, guys. Let's all work together for that. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Share my videos. Really, we need to share these. We need to get this out. We need to make this kind of stuff go viral instead of getting 1,000, 2,000 views. Come on, guys. Help me out. And thank you for watching. Reg out.